Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
It's a great day. I'm Mark Imperial. For the past 7 years, I've scoured the globe looking for noteworthy experts, businesses, people, places, and things. On this special edition of the show, we'll meet some of the world's leading professionals in health, nutrition, and fitness, people from all across the country, around the world, and in your town. Welcome to the program. On this segment, my guests are Bryson and Melissa Johnson from TKD Cary in Cary, North Carolina. Bryson and Melissa, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Mark, for having us on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure. So tell me more about TKD Cary and the type of clients and members that you help.
Well, Taekwondo Cary is a martial arts school, Johnson's Taekwondo Academy of Cary. And, for a little bit of our background, we started martial arts when we were very young. I started when I was 10 years old, and I actually met Melissa in the martial arts school of my stepdad when we were 12 years old. And I like to say the rest is history. We've been now married for almost 15 years, and we've had our school for the past decade in Cary, North Carolina. And our goal really is to empower everyone through martial arts and fitness, anyone from 3 years old up through 63 years old and older.
What is the trend these days? Because I know that martial arts, I grew up in it. I really strongly believe in it and building character and confidence in today's youth. And I know that the trends have gone up and down in martial arts for a long time. And now with the popularity of MMA in the world, I feel like some of the traditions kind of lost. But I know that, the rising sport of any type of combat sport brings up boxing and Taekwondo and martial arts in general. How do you feel about that?
Well, at our school, we teach traditional Taekwondo. We definitely still have all of the traditions associated with martial arts. At our academy, our trends we can see, they sort of vary year to year as far as ages and everything. But it's really interesting in our teen class, we have a huge population of teen girls that are in our academy. And so we really focus on trying to empower them and give them, a lot of confidence building and life skills that they can take with them forever.
Really? Do you, so the girls in Taekwondo has been on the rise. That's a trend?
I think so. It depends on which age group you're sort of looking at. We have a preschool program, and in that program, it's a lot of little boys. The girls are practicing gymnastics and ballet, and then we start to see them trickle in around 10 years old. And then, when we're teaching our teen class, it's not unlikely for us to have more teen girls than there are teen boys in our academy.
Right
on. And one thing, Mark, I think
Uh-huh.
is important to note is that, the parents really want everyone to be prepared when they go to college. We do our best to, protect our children while they're in our own care. But at one point, they're going to be off and they're going to face peer pressures, and they're going to be in social situations where you're going to want them to have, a strengthened character to avoid falling prey to those types of pressures. But also from a self-defense standpoint, a lot of times, our kids are in, really nice suburb neighborhoods, but then they're going to go to college in a big city, and it's the first time they've been out in this type of situation. So we want to give them some self-defense that is going to take them when, say, they're in a parking deck, or say they're, leaving from a late class one night and someone approaches them. We really want to give them some tools that they can use to feel empowered and to feel confident that they could take care of themselves.
Today's society is so busy, and with so many kids having choices of activities and parents wondering, what activities am I going to put my kids into? Why Taekwondo over any other choices that they have?
Well, Taekwondo is a great disciplined sport. We call it a sport, but, being us, growing up in martial arts in that kind of traditional atmosphere, we really see it as an art form. And, how it differs from other sports is that it's very individual. It builds the character of the practitioner. It teaches self-defense. And I'm not going to say that it doesn't teach team building as well, because we incorporate that into the class. But the beauty about the martial arts is that no one sits on the bench. Everyone has their opportunity to grow and to succeed as an individual in their class. And we really know that martial arts is good for kids. Not only, like I said, we grew up in martial arts, so it was really impactful on us. It actually was just part of our family. Literally, my stepdad actually taught both of us, and I grew up in a school. But, to the common person who comes in, at 3, 4, or, older, coming into a school, we do find that it really does have great positive benefits on all aspects of their life. And that's one reason why several years ago we began the process of pursuing a product called Striker Pro. And, the biggest goal for any business owner is to have the widest reach. And to say that a martial arts school is a business, it is a business, but we believe it's a for good business, and for profit and for good. But the thing about it is, we have a really small net in Cary, North Carolina, that we can appeal to people. Obviously, someone's not going to drive 100 miles 3 times a week to go to martial arts class. So we created this product called Striker Pro, which allows us to actually teach people all over the country, and to start a movement to get people in the family, mom, dad, the kids, in their living room, training with our videos and using this Striker Pro product so that we can have a wider reach and make a bigger impact.
I'd like to ask you about the Striker Pro program in a moment, but before that, I'd want to know, with the amount of information out there and people being exposed to so much, martial arts and fight sports on TV and in the movies today, do people that come to you for the first time, do they have a lot of misconceptions? What's the biggest misconception that you think you've come across?
I think with our families here in Cary, North Carolina, a lot of them come in and they want to make sure that their son is not going to beat up on their little brother or, attack the neighbor or something like that. They want to make sure that we are a traditional school and we're not going to incorporate any type of, bullying or anything like that, that we're going to be true to the martial arts traditions and teach, self-respect and discipline and making sure that they're, only using their martial arts for self-protection.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, I appreciate that. So yeah, let's get into the Striker Pro program. Tell me what Striker Pro is and who it's for.
Well, I'm a creative at heart. I'm always trying to improve things, and what better to improve than what you know the most? And having been in martial arts, teaching professionally for the past decade, that came more easily to me. But I created this system that incorporates targets on a pole. It's portable. It's similar to, we call it a portable punching bag. It incorporates sit-up holds for ab work. It incorporates a elevated platform for core work and things like planks. It incorporates resistance bands that easily connect to the base. And the most unique part of it is, besides its portability, having the ease of use where mom and dad or the kids, they can pull it out of the closet and roll it back and they have their training, which we believe is very important because we know that when people train together, they're more likely to stick with it and have a great support system. But the most unique part of it is the resistance banded target, to where they can be adjustable. It can do a free spin, and it's light impact. It kind of changes the paradigm or the thought process behind impact training or combat training or the high impact heavy bag type of work. Of course, that is very important when you're training to be a boxer or something, but when I looked at this, having the ability to do a lot of the different techniques and have a low impact on the body, I can teach anyone to do it. You don't have to be a martial artist. You don't have to be, have any experience. We take you from the very beginning and teach you different techniques. But all behind that is the fitness aspect. It's a fitness product that incorporates martial arts into it.
Gotcha. So you guys have a lot going on over there, I see. What got you started? How did you guys, get inspired to get into martial arts?
Well, I was a 10-year-old kid, and my mom wanted me to get into something that would get me fit. And, I was a little on the chubby side. And she said, well, you need to get into something. And, we went to the local karate school and got involved in it. And from that point forward, I just loved it. From my very first class, I really just embraced it. And, the thing about martial arts is it incorporates a lot of the stripes, a lot of the reward systems. From the very first class, you can start working toward a stripe. So it's kind of, you hit the ground running. And for most kids, that's really great because, it's kind of that, encouragement along the way. So many things you have to wait until you get good at to really start having some fun. But, with the martial arts, you can start having fun your very first class and start earning those stripes because we set the bar very low in the beginning and then we increase it over time. And then, a year from now, 2 years from now, you look back at yourself and you don't even recognize where you came from because you've grown so much, but just a little bit at a time.
So to wrap things up,
Melissa,
I know that the martial arts has been a really huge part of your lives. So could you give, some words of wisdom for somebody that's considering, martial arts and what it might do for them?
I think just starting off saying, what is your goals? You're definitely not going to be very good your very first class. It depends on, if you put somebody who's never danced before and you put them in a dance class, they're not going to be very good. So we have a lot of kids that come in and parents and teams that get, a little discouraged their very first class, not knowing anything. And, we tell them put their right leg forward, they put their left leg forward, and it's just a lot going on. And really just not to give up, just to keep going and stay positive about everything. There's going to be hills and valleys. We've definitely had some setbacks in our martial arts career, whether that be losing at a tournament or failing a belt testing. But, it can definitely be conquered the next time and just to really keep going.
There's such a history behind martial arts.
Uh-huh.
As far as our art is Korean-based. We teach our students to follow in the paths of the Walrong-do, which were elite warrior scholars who protected their community, similar to the samurai. And, they were intellectual, but they were also physically fit. So I would say similar to like a Navy SEAL. You have to be smart and you have to be physically fit. And so it's really that balance we call between the pen and the sword, where we don't want to just be fighters, but we want to actually improve our communities and we want to be smart and we want to help others. And it's just this all-inclusive, good family type of benefit. Everyone benefits from the martial arts.
For our listeners who may be near you in Cary, North Carolina, and for our listeners from all around the world about Striker Pro, can you tell them how to get more information and connect with you? Where do they go?
Well, for the local people, they can go to tkdcary.com, Tom, Kevin, David. It stands for Taekwondo. So tkdcary.com. And for our national audience, they can go to Striker Pro, STRYKERPRO. And we have different models for, the kids and for the adults. Like I said, one of our goals is to teach physical fitness, teach, martial arts-based fitness, but also to get the family exercising together. And we have some different products that can help with that. And we really enjoyed being on the show today, Mark.
Thank you so much, Bryson and Melissa Johnson. It's been terrific having you on the program. I appreciate you taking the time to join me today, and I wish you continued success for TKD Cary and for Striker Pro. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks so much, Mark.
Thank you.
We're in the middle of a special edition on health, nutrition, and fitness. On this segment, my next guest is Jonathan Haag, the Regional Director for Anytime Fitness in the Wisconsin and Illinois region. Jonathan, welcome to the program.
Hey, thank you for having me, Mark.
Hey, Jonathan, I know there's probably not a person on the planet that doesn't know the brand Anytime Fitness, but if there's one person living in a rock cave, tell us what Anytime Fitness is and the type of people that you serve.
For sure, yeah. We are the number one brand when it comes to a 24/7 facility. Our claim to fame, has always been convenience since we're 24/7, 7 days a week kind of a club. But now we've shifted. We've shifted towards being a more coaching first mentality. We know that individuals out there that are new to health and wellness need a hand up. And Anytime Fitness is all about making sure they are comfortable, they have a program to succeed. And coaching now plus convenience is the way forward for Anytime Fitness.
Oh, I didn't know that you went into more of a coach. I did notice that you've been involved in a number of television shows that feature your training. So tell me more about that. What is the coaching like, and who are the type of people that are attracted to it?
For sure. So the coaching is pretty basic. I can't really say basic. It's advanced. We hire people that have an educational background that know how to make sure that you're achieving the goals that you want to achieve. When a person comes into our club, it doesn't matter who you are. We all have a goal in mind. So the individuals that we hire are the ones that can identify that goal, know how to build a program and structure around how many days you're coming to the gym, and what to do while you're there, and consistently motivate you to achieve those things. And it's a beautiful thing. So everybody, we feel, needs a coach. Someone needs help with nutrition. Someone's going to need help with an exercise-designed program. Someone just needs to be motivated. Maybe they just need a little bit of a kick to kind of get them in and keep them accountable. As we know, it takes about 10 to 12 weeks to create a habit. So if individuals are not in the habit of being healthy, it would be a good thing to have a coach to motivate them during that time period to create that habit. So that's what we do.
I know there's a lot of information out there in the world about fitness and nutrition, so it must lead to a bunch of confusion. Has there been any misconceptions, like a big misconception that you find a lot of folks come in with that you have to help them overcome?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think one of the biggest things is, what do most people want today? They want to be healthier, but what specifically do they want? Well, they want to lower their body fat percentage, and they probably want to maintain a certain amount of muscle tissue. And they want to increase their metabolism so they are a better fat burner pretty much all day. I think that's what the average American wants. They want to be a bodybuilder. They don't want to be a rock star athlete. That's a small population. People just want to lower some body fat percentage, maintain muscle tissue. But people don't know how to get that. And I think the biggest misconception is people think that they can come to a health club, hop on a piece of cardio equipment, and that's going to give them the goal. I don't know where that misconception comes from, but that's totally not it. The best way to achieve those things that you want when it comes to lowering body fat, to increase lean muscle tissue, is to do some sort of resistance training more often than cardio, because it does help pick up. Heart rates are a lot better off maintained that way. But the biggest thing is it's called EPOC. We won't get into it too deeply, but basically your metabolism is higher for a longer period of time after you're done working out when you do resistance training versus cardio. So if you want to be a better fat burner, it would behoove you to do more resistance training versus cardio. And also it will increase your lean muscle tissue. So that's a pretty big misconception when people walk in is cardio versus resistance training. Which one will give me the results faster or better?
Right on. So yeah, you want to keep that fire burning longer, so to speak. So in that mix of cardio and strength training, is it okay to do a mix of both? What would that ratio be like?
I would say 2 to 1. It's definitely a mix. You still want to have cardio in there somewhere. We all want to have a strong heart, strong lungs. We want those things. And obviously when it comes to endurance, it's nice to still have that cardio in there. So you definitely want to do that. I would say a 2 to 1 ratio of resistance training and cardio, and that would be a good mixture. So if you're hypothetically training in the club, let's say 3 to 4 days a week, I would say 3 days at least for the resistance training. Then you can mix in a little bit of cardio at the end of your training session to kind of finish you off and make sure that you're still getting that cardio piece.
There's a lot of information out there, and depending on which infomercial I'm watching that night, I've heard that like nutrition is like 90% and the actual physical activity is only 10%. Is there any truth to that?
I would say nutrition is probably 96%. So there's definitely a lot of truth in that. Yeah, it's so important. And to kind of make it how important it is, you can kind of see where we're at as a country, as a nation, when it comes to obesity rates and type 2 diabetics and all of these things going on. And you kind of look at the trends and what's been happening. And you'll notice that what's the major factor of people getting bigger and bigger these days? And it's hands down nutrition. What are we putting in our mouths? A little bit of sedentary lifestyles. Lifestyles have changed, but the biggest factor is nutrition. Everything is so easier. So if you want to get the results you want, hands down, it's higher than 90. I'm guessing 96%. I would say nutrition is so important, and you need it, to get the results that you want.
How do you incorporate that in your coaching programs in particular?
For sure. So, our coaches are not registered dietitians, so we cannot prescribe any sort of nutritional profile for people, but we do give them recommendations, which is what we can do, recommending certain things that they can incorporate into their lifestyle, different options, things of that nature. But the biggest thing is education. Educating people on what is good, what is bad, this versus that, what a solid nutritional profile looks like. And even, going to the grocery store with them, showing them how to shop, showing them how to save money. That misconception that it costs more to be healthy, that's a false thing. It doesn't. It doesn't have to, put it that way. We don't need to shop at Whole Foods and spend a whole paycheck, but we could shop different places and save money and still live healthy. So my coaches are all about education, making sure you know what to do and how to implement what we teach into their lifestyle to get them results they want. And ultimately, what do we want to do? Pass that down to their kids if they have some. Educate our youth to then again not have the problems that our generations are having now.
You have great information, Jonathan. How did you get inspired to get into fitness? How did you get started?
Oh, a great journey. I was in the Marines for 4 years out in California, and I developed that lifestyle of training hard, being healthy, being the top of the top that I could be then. After that, I went to school. I'm a kinesiologist, so a 4-year degree, and took that even a step further and really saw these trends I'm talking about where our country is and where we are continuing to go. And I kind of made a choice, put my foot down and said, enough's enough. Wherever I'm at in my community, I'm going to do what I can, as much as I can, to influence change and to help those that are looking for help. Obviously, everybody does not want help, but the ones that are ready, I made it a life choice to do that and to help those people.
So to wrap things up here, is there anything that we may not have covered that you'd like to leave people with and make people aware of to help them be successful on their journey to fitness and better health?
We talked about a lot of great things. Making the choice is scary. I'll put it that way. And for those individuals out there that are looking for change and looking for help, there's a lot of great places you can find it. Anytime Fitness is definitely on the top that I've seen around that cares about people, that has your best intentions in mind, and that truly puts you first. And I think that's what people need. Take the leap. If there's anything out there, I want people to believe in themselves and know that you can do it, and it's worth it. You're worth it, and, be the best you every day, try to grow and succeed. And it's a process. It's a journey. Things aren't going to come overnight, but if you make those great changes little by little, you're going to see some awesome things down the road.
For our listeners who are ready to take the leap or want to learn a little bit more and connect with you, how do they find you? Where should they go?
You bet. So, depending where they're at, obviously, as we know, Anytime Fitness, there's over 3,000 clubs worldwide. So anytimefitness.com. You can find us on Facebook, same thing, type in Anytime Fitness and in your local area. And you can definitely find the clubs around that area. If you are in the Wisconsin region, if you're looking for me specifically, I'm around the Delavan, Burlington, Wisconsin, and Antioch, Illinois areas, and also the entire Rockford region. So you will definitely find my crew and my educated people around there. But long story short, Facebook, you definitely find us on there. Type in Anytime Fitness in your region, and you'll find us. And also anytimefitness.com, plug in your zip code, and you'll be taken care of.
Hey, this has been terrific. Jonathan, I want to thank you for taking the time and joining me on the program and sharing all your great information with me today. So I wish you continued success for you, Anytime Fitness, and for all of your members.
Hey, thanks a lot, Mark. Thank you for having me.
On this segment of the program, my next guest is Denny Bonewitz from Edge Sports Fitness. Denny, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us, Mark. Appreciate it.
Denny, tell us about Edge Sports Fitness and the types of clients that you help.
Well, we help anybody, of course, from all different ages. We have youth ages all the way up to us older athletes that we want to bring in. But we are athletically based, so there's a little bit difference in what we do. We're not your so-called personal trainers where we're just engaged in, what we look like in the mirror and how big our biceps can be. We actually train functionality. So we're looking for to help those types of athletes get from point A to point B, whether you're a football player, gymnast, karate, all the martial arts, of course, all the major sports, football, baseball, basketball, teaching athletes how to get from that point A to point B. And then, like I said, all of us older kids teaching moms and dads, the stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads, the Susie soccer moms of the world, to help them shed a few extra pounds. And we try to do it in an athletic vein, just because when you train like an athlete, you're going to get better, faster, more long-lasting results. That's what we're looking for.
Okay, right on. So, yeah, I am one of those older kids, so I'll show my age because I'll tell you, when I was growing up, we didn't have any of these sports, fitness, or performance academies or anything like that. So, when did this trend really start? And tell me all about, are these the folks that come to see you, what are they looking to achieve?
A great question. Yeah, the sports performance industry, I was a college strength and conditioning coach for 17 years all over the country. It's kind of a gypsy job. You go from job to job trying to build that resume up and, get one in back then it was the WAC, and then, you have the SEC and the Big 12 and so forth. So we were, as college coaches going through the ranks, we were trying to, bolster that resume. Well, that being said, that niche that we have, training like an athlete, just kind of took off. And so the sports performance side of things, teaching athletes how to jump higher, run faster, do well in their combines, like the football combines that are put on around the country, those kind of things, no pun intended here, but gave an edge to a lot of these athletes out there to become bigger, faster, stronger. Well, mom and dad hear about those kind of things, and they want to try to get those same type of results that their kids are getting. And it's fun. It's just something that's different instead of the old rep counters that you have at a gym, your stereotypical gym.
That's great. I didn't even realize that the parents were getting into it as well. I thought this was really college-bound athletes and that.
I mean, don't you have a competition and a spirit to you that you want to try to beat the guy next to you?
Oh, absolutely. You never lose that, do you?
That's right. So, I mean, what else can you do now? I mean, there's other leagues and things you can join and do, and you've got safety issues. You can play in an adult softball league or flag football, but we just try to help promote that longevity. Yeah, you want to play and you want to play great, but don't you want to play great for a long time?
Mm-hmm. Right on. Yeah,
that's what we help implement.
Today there's so much information out there about fitness and nutrition, and it can be overwhelming and confusing. So when folks come to see you, especially like a parent, Do you find that they have any common misconceptions that you have to kind of help them get over when it comes to fitness?
Sure. You know, the old stereotypical deal of, again, you know, they're gym rat type of people, where you got these people staring in the mirrors and stuff, and, oh, geez, this is going to be really hard, and I'm going to be so sore I can't walk the next day. Now, not saying that doesn't happen with some of the things we do, but what we try to do is educate people on, you know, here's the way that you need to train, but we're third on the list. And they go, what? And I said, well, there's like a 3-legged stool. Number one, you've got to watch what goes in your pie hole. Mm-hmm. You've got to watch what you eat. You can't go to McDonald's 17 times a week and expect to lose X amount of weight over that time, even if you're training. Mm-hmm. So that's number one. And then number two, the nutritive value of food today isn't what it was 5, 10, 20 years ago, or even longer. So you have to probably supplement to some extent. Mm-hmm. You know, the vitamins and minerals that are in the plants today, it's not even in the soil anymore. So how do the plants have it? So if the plants don't have it, the livestock doesn't have it, the people that we train don't have it, you know, us. We don't have it in us. So we have to do something to help supplement what we're doing. So watch your diet, supplement. And the third thing is the exercise. You got to burn off more than what you put in. Simple math, if you look at it that way, and don't try to make things too hard and too complicated and more protein, less protein. Once you start kind of simplifying things, it gets a lot easier, and then the pounds start shedding off. And to kind of go in that direction, people always ask, well, what's your secret on a lot of this stuff? Those three things. But the intangible to me is working hard. So you can read all these, you know, magazine articles and scientific studies on things. And so we always tell the kids, you got to have, to dummy it down here, you got to have the smarts and you got to have the intensity. You can read how to work this exercise, this routine, whatever, and go in the gym and try to read it off a book and try to do this, and this, and have no intensity behind it. And then you got those guys, we've all seen them, and gals too, that are just psychos in the gym. They're running around lifting 900 pounds here and there, and their form's terrible, and they never know where they're at as far as their results they can get. So you have to have both. You have to be able to work hard at the smarts. You got to do your book work, but you've also got to be able to get intense underneath that bar or on that exercise or on that drill. That's what we tell the kids. We teach them the technique. Now it's time to attack the drills so that you can get better. So
speaking about that, you know, the actual exercise, what about that age-old debate, cardio versus strength training? Where do you stand on that?
You got to have them both, but if you were just simply looking to lose weight, you can go do an aerobics class, and you can lose maybe 350, on the upper end, 450, sometimes a little bit more calories in a session. Mm-hmm. Okay? So that sounds attractive. But then you hear about weight training. Now, if I do resistance training, I'm going to burn 250 calories a session. Well, shoot, that's like a bag of, you know, French fries or whatever. Mm-hmm. 250 calories, I'm going to go do aerobics. Well, here's the thing that people forget. Mm-hmm. When you do a weight or resistance training session, you'll burn 250, 300 calories that first 45 minutes to an hour, but you keep burning that for an extended period of time, 2, 3, 4 more hours, as opposed to just the one-time cardio, you know, your so-called cardio classes like we used to have, but aerobics classes. And you stop burning those calories a little bit right after you finish. You go out and have a glass of water, and you're back to recovery time, and you've burned your 350 calories. The weight training or resistance training one, you burn those calories a lot longer. So there's the difference in that, and, you know, like you said, the stereotype thing. But you need a little bit of both, honestly. Mm-hmm. Just got to mix it up, keep it fresh for you.
I have heard that about the epoch stuff, right? So what actually physically happens that causes like strength training to allow you to burn calories longer? What happens with your body?
Great question. Well, on the strength phase of it, it takes your whole body to do a drill. Typically, let's use the one everybody knows: bench press. Mm-hmm. Let's just say, or squat. That's a large muscle group, and there are different systems. When you are using a large muscle group and a so-called aerobic or anaerobic system, sprints can be considered anaerobic, where you're just doing short bursts of energy. Like you see a football player on the field running an 8-yard run or a 20-yard run. It takes less than 1 to 3 seconds to do that stuff, and then they're resting for 15 to 40 seconds. So that anaerobic side increases the density of your muscles. It helps it's a different system. You're going to use sugars initially, like when you're doing aerobics, you're going to use sugars as an energy source. Well, what you want to get to is your fats. And that's what that anaerobic thing does. It'll go and help you start utilizing fats faster than the sugars. If you can burn fats longer and get, and hold the sugar for storage, then you're going to have that effect that you were talking about where you can burn, or we both talking about burning calories longer. Does that kind of make sense?
Absolutely. This is great information because I've heard that a bunch of times, never really understood why it happens, and this totally clarified it for me. So Denny,
whole anaerobic versus aerobic. Go ahead.
Yeah. How did you get started in this? You have a ton of great information. What inspired you to get into fitness?
I competed as an athlete for years in high school and college, and had a couple buddies that were strength and conditioning coaches when I was in college that were my coaches. And they basically one day, one of the guys couldn't make it in. One of the coaches couldn't make it in for a circuit workout for a wrestling team at the University of Wyoming. He goes, "Hey, can you take these guys for the first 15 minutes for me? Just get them warmed up." And I said, "Sure, coach." Went in there and did a little warm up with the guys that he told me to do, and fell in love with it. And got into the coaching ranks for, like I said, different D1 universities all over the country for 17 years. And then, 16 years ago, it's going to date my age here, we opened up the Edge in Texas, and now we've migrated up here into Oklahoma. So just been around it kind of my whole life.
So to wrap up, Denny, for folks listening that, that are intrigued by this, is there anything that we haven't covered here that you'd want to make people aware of to help them become successful when it comes to fitness?
I think those two things we did talk about, the smarts and the intensity. Do your homework. Find out, if you are looking for a coach or a trainer in your neck of the woods, make sure they're doing things sensibly. But you do your homework, figure out what you want to do personally, what you want to get, have the smarts behind it, and then you've got to be able to put intensity behind it. If you're excited about something, you're going to do it. If you're not excited, you're probably not going to do it. And then once you get into the work of it, work hard at it, and you're off and rocking. So I would just say work hard. That's my favorite thing to tell the athletes, the moms and dads. Work hard, get into it, learn what you're doing, and work hard at it.
Oh, that's terrific. So, Denny, for our listeners who may be in your area by Edmond, Oklahoma, and would like to connect up with you, how do they find you?
They can I leave our number on there and our website? That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we have our website's real simple, www.edge, EDGE, and then sports, SPORTS, fitness.com, edgesportsfitness.com, and our number is area code 940-391-3711, and we do all the combine stuff, the fitness stuff. We have kids come from all over the country to come learn how to do our speed agility training to get ready for those NFL combines.
Hey, Denny, this has been terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on the program with me today. I wish you continued success for Edge Sports Fitness, for you and for all of your clients.
Mark, you've got great questions and a great audience, and I'm really impressed by you. Thank you so much.
We're in the middle of another special edition for fitness, health, and nutrition. On this segment, my guest is Greg Sterner from Fitness Together Point Loma. Greg, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mark.
So, Greg, tell us about Fitness Together, what it is, and the type of folks that you help.
Well, we're mainly a one-on-one personal training gym or studio, kind of a boutique style, not like a big box gym. That's our bread and butter. I'm a licensed physical therapist. I also occasionally see people for physical therapy, just cash pay though. And we also do semi-private training, 2 to 4 people with one trainer. We also do nutrition, food coaching. We have 3 challenges a year. We also have we call it Takedown Lifestyle. It's a 6-month food coaching program. And then our target audience is usually 40 to 70-year-olds that maybe haven't been exercising in a while, probably have maybe a 10 to 30-pound weight loss goal, and just really want to get back to activities they love to do and get back in shape, really increase their fitness level.
So there's a lot of information out there on fitness today. It could be overwhelming and confusing. Do you find that when people come to see you, they have some incorrect beliefs or misconceptions about what it takes to be successful in fitness?
Oh, definitely. Most people, number one, think they can exercise off excess weight and body fat, which is a big misnomer. Weight training is definitely going to help increase your lean muscle mass, which will burn more calories at rest. But really, it's the consistent eating that's going to really shed the weight and the body fat. So I'd say that's the biggest misnomer.
Consistent eating. So yeah, I have heard that. It's like, I've heard there's a saying, right? They say that it's 90% nutrition and what you eat and then 10% exercise. Is there any truth to that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm 100% on with that. If you look at a bodybuilder, not everyone wants to be a bodybuilder, obviously, but if you ask any bodybuilder, it's really their dietary part that makes them successful. It's not the workouts. The workouts are pretty easy for bodybuilders. They love to work out, but the eating is really the challenge, to really dedicate yourself and be spot on with your eating. That's going to get you the most success for weight loss and body fat loss, whether you want to do something like bodybuilding or just your normal everyday, soccer mom or male who wants to lose, 10, 20, 30 pounds.
So a client that comes to see you, do you find that they've tried to get fit on their own and have struggled with it? Or, what is it that's kept them from being successful?
I think it's just not having a complete program for their fitness. They have bits and pieces. They read things in magazines. They can duplicate a workout in a magazine. Also, I think it's the accountability. I have a fitness coach myself. I belong to a fitness coaching network. And I think most successful people in life, whether you look at somebody like Mark Cuban or anyone, they have actually a coach themselves who coaches them. So I think the coaching is very important to keep them accountable.
So let's talk about the actual training itself and the exercise portion of it. There's a lot of information out there that's about cardio versus strength training. Where do you stand on that? What do you think people should be doing, one or the other?
Well, I would say it's not one or the other. Really, for complete fitness, you want a combination of strength. You want to have a good cardiovascular system, especially as you age, to prevent heart disease, stroke. And also flexibility and balance. Those are really the four pillars of being in complete health. I actually think that strength training, the American College of Sports Medicine, really looks at doing twice a week at least, full body workouts as a minimum. And then for cardio, they look at 150 minutes of cardio per week, at least at your target heart rate, which is at least over 55% of your heart rate max, as just minimums for exercise. So I would say it's not one or the other, it's a combination.
So when a client comes to see you, what are one or two of the most common questions that they come to you with?
I would say just, how should I eat, really? A lot of them read health and fitness magazines, which tell them to eat every 2 hours, eat often, which is actually great once you get to the weight you want to be at and the body fat. But most people actually have fat stores that they can get at if they actually wait and eat consistently, but take more time in between their meals. We usually start people at 4 meals a day, every 4 hours apart, and then they're really getting at their fat stores. That's one thing. And then I would say, again, not trying to do too much at one time, but, trying to progress and add on slowly to their fitness level, the weights they do, and create a habit more than anything else. Okay,
wait a second, Greg. So you're telling me by eating more often, you can get to your fat stores. Can you expand on that? Because I'm trying to wrap my mind around how you can eat more and get to your fat stores.
Well, it's not so much. Most people that have done any diets and, succeeded even for short terms of diets, but kind of yo-yoed back and forth. They lost 20 pounds, they gained it back, and maybe even more. Those people, number one, their metabolism's just off. You can only starve yourself for so long, and restricting your calories will help you lose weight. But in the long run, our body really wants to eat, every every actually 2 to 4 hours. And our body really actually craves having protein, fats, and carbohydrates at every meal. And that's what we try to do to actually have people incorporate that into their eating habits.
So Greg, you've got a lot of great information. What inspired you to get into fitness? How'd you get started?
Myself in high school, I played a lot of athletics. I actually had a shoulder injury. I saw a physical therapist, had an arthroscopic rotator cuff surgery. I myself wasn't my best patient at that time, didn't really do great with my home program. But I think that was the start. And then I was in the Air Force for 4 years, got out, and that's the path I chose. I really have a passion for helping people, get back to what they love to do physically, and also just a passion for movement. I surf, I run. I just try to really do something active every day.
With the age group of clients that you work with and help, for somebody that's listening that, wants to get into better shape and health and fitness for themselves, what's one piece of advice that you could send them off with to start them off on the right path and give them the right advice so that they can be successful with their fitness? What would you tell them?
I would just start slow. I would actually make sure they write out their goals. Like what do they want short-term and long-term? Maybe do a 6-week short-term goals, SMART goals, write out what they want to do and be in 6 to 12 months. And then really just try to create a habit again. Let's say if it's just their first goal is to walk every day for 30 minutes. I'd say schedule it into their day too. Don't just do it when it's convenient, but have a schedule. Because if you put it in, you schedule it, you're more inclined to do it. Same thing with workouts, just, consistent time of day, consistently putting it in their planner. I would say if you can do it first thing in the morning, do it first thing in the morning. The chance of procrastinating later in the day is much higher. So I would say try to do something in the morning and just try to create a habit.
So Greg, you're in San Diego. So for our listeners that may be near you or want to connect with you and learn more and work with you, how do they find you? Where should they go?
They can call us at 619-756-7500, or they can go to our website, which is fitnesstogether.com/Point Loma, Pointloma. That would be the best way to find us. We're at Liberty Station in San Diego. San Diego is beautiful. Hopefully you'll get a chance to go there if you haven't been.
Oh, I love San Diego. Absolutely. And I definitely am looking for every excuse to go back. So yeah, you may just be seeing me, Greg. I appreciate you taking the time to come on the program with me today. You have great information, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
That wraps up another episode of our Health, Nutrition, and Fitness Special Edition. If you know a remarkable expert, business, person, place, or thing that we should feature on the show, drop me a line on my email, radioguest@markimperial.com. That's radioguest@markimperial.com. Until next time, I'm Mark Imperial. Take care and make it a remarkable week.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.